The Philadelphia Eagles sure do love those Georgia Bulldogs defenders. They took two of them last night in the first round of the NFL draft. Jalen Carter, who I believe is the best player in this 2023 class. They got him at 9 overall. They traded up one spot with the Bears to secure that and get him. And then at their 30th pick, they had two first rounders. At their 30th, Nolan Smith fell to them. Both Georgia Bulldogs defenders fell down the draft. I think both were taken at a spot where they were way too valuable to be there. I think Nolan, to me, was a guy that really should have went in like the late teens. That's kind of where I had him in my range. And to me, I thought Jalen Carter was a top 5 guy. So that's just my take. They joined Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean, the guys they took last year. Obviously, Nakobe Dean, I believe he was the 82nd or 3rd, but he was a third round pick for the Eagles at linebacker last year, and Jordan Davis was the 13th overall pick. They used their first round selection on him. So they got two interior defensive linemen, and then they got an edge linebacker, and they got a middle linebacker, all from these Georgia Bulldogs the last 2 years. What are they building over there in Philadelphia? What does this mean? What's good about it? I'm going to give you my brief take on it here in a sec. Ryan Kelly from Dog Post. Make sure you're checking out Double Dog. There's pictures of all 4 of those guys in these books, all right? And they were big pieces for why those national championships happen and why we get to do cool things like this and put that together for you. A lot of hard work goes into that. Links are down below for that. Red Zone, DoorDash, all those things are down below. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel and signing up for a newsletter. Trust me, trust Dean, trust Matt. You're missing out if you're not doing all those things. So Jalen Carter last night, and I realized that it took me a long time to really get into it, so I apologize. But Jalen Carter last night, he definitely was emotional. I mean, he was in tears when it happened. I think that this has been an emotional process for him. I'm not picking sides on, is Jalen Carter a good guy, a bad guy, all that. The fact of the matter is, that's a terrible situation, everything that's been going on. It's not a good situation. A lot of non-football stuff been going on, and him getting selected, I think the best, if he's not the best player in the draft, he's the 2nd or 3rd best player in the draft, in my opinion, along with a couple other guys. Rise up, by the way. Falcons rise up. I do like the Bijan pick. I can get into that another time. So the Eagles, their run stop is going to be... I think that Jordan Davis is a great run defender. I think Nolan Smith is a great run defender with a lot of pass rush upside. I think he's a better run stopper than he is a pass rusher right now. And then... they're bringing Jalen Carter into that environment where he's got 3 people who already love him, right? That they already at least care for him in the sense of a teammate. Even if they weren't buddies, they at least care for him in the sense of a teammate. They won championships together. They shed blood or whatever here in Athens, so they have that bond. They're building something there. Right? I think the Eagles are probably the favorite to win the Super Bowl. I know it doesn't have a ton to do with what happened last night, but that is part of it. I mean, they come from a championship culture, and you're adding that to a team that was very, 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 very close to winning a Super Bowl, and you lock up your quarterback of the future in Jalen Hurts, guy I was wrong about, and they're building something over there, man. The Eagles are. They're going to be good for at least a couple more years. They should be contending for a Super Bowl, and that defense is going to be tough with all of those guys. And it's already a talented defense that features veterans that are really good. Darius Slay is one of my favorite corners in the league. Fletcher Cox is an old veteran. Graham, the linebacker, I can't think of his name. It's a defense that has a lot of really good players already. You're adding these young Georgia players to work with them, potentially replace them one day. Jalen Carter could come in and just play on 3rd downs. They're loaded. I mean, he can come in and just be a 3rd round, get to the quarterback guy if you wanted to with him, but I think he'll certainly play more than that. The Eagles, I think they're coming out of this draft, and you have to be really excited. I think that they were one of the biggest winners from it. When you get Georgia guys like this, and I'm not technically a draft analyst. I do feel somewhat qualified to talk about it, but I would say they're winners. I look around at look at what they did compared to a lot of other teams last night. Some teams had more than one pick. Look at what the Lions did, taking Jahmyr Gibbs at 12. Were the Falcons wrong to take Bijan Robinson, and then the Lions took Jack Campbell? The Lions not only did it once, but they did it twice, a position that's not super, super, super valuable, or an undervalued position in the first round. And the Eagles come out with 2 extremely valuable ones, and it's very rare to find a defensive tackle, an interior lineman, as good as Jalen Carter, they don't come out that often. That's why he's the best one since Quinton Williams. Quinton Williams is the best one in a long time. I mean, some would argue that he was the best since Ndamukong Suh. I consider those three guys probably be the three best defensive tackle prospects of the last 15, 20 years. They were all just absolute studs in college. And the Eagles defense, man, what I am looking forward to is the picture of all four of them on the field at the same time, right? There's going to be a really cool shot. I'm sure, you could end up getting it in preseason perhaps, but there's going to be a really cool shot where all four of those guys are on the field at the same time. I've heard the rumors, whatever you want to call it, are that Nakobe Dean is potentially a guy that's going to start this coming year. I know they lost a linebacker, I believe, in free agency, so there's potential for Nakobe Dean to get more playing time. I know he didn't play that much last year. Jordan Davis never really played that much, right? You know what the situation was at Georgia where he rotated a lot. Same thing with Jalen Carter. I think Jalen Carter played in the games he played. Obviously, he missed a few. In the games he played, it felt like Jalen Carter was on the field more than Jordan Davis was in 2021. And I'm sure there's a website where you can fact check me on that, but that was just off of my feeling and just kind of memory. It felt like Jalen Carter played more snaps per game than Jordan Davis did, is how I would phrase that. So you're getting a lot of great talent, great locker room stuff. I mean, I know Todd McShay made the comment about, people aren't going to be sad about Jalen Carter leaving, whatever. Well, and you see the video of Georgia football posted after Jalen Carter got selected. It was a video of a bunch of the players in one of their meeting rooms or something. They're all watching the draft together. They're so happy for Jalen. It's heartwarming stuff. That's all heartwarming stuff. But the Eagles are building something. They're taking all these guys from Athens. Who knows? Maybe they'll grab more in the future. Make sure you're checking out the site dawgpost.com. Books and anything you need down below in the description. Thank you for watching.